Hi friends, so remember we are doing two things in math. We're going to do the review preview together. Today you are going to do a couple on your own for a discussion post. And then you are doing your FSA warm-up on your own and having someone check it, okay? So as I'm sharing my screen with you, I would like you to make sure that you are on day 17. So it will be day 17 for both, for our preview and review standards, and day 17 for our FSA warm-ups. Okay, remember day 17 is on your own for the warm-ups. All right, let's go ahead and look at number 1. Select all, I hope you're underlining that, the expressions that help you solve 4 times 9. Okay, well, what's the first thing we want to figure out? What is 4 times 9? Go ahead and write it down. 4 times 9 is what? 36. So then, what's our next step? When we have problems like this, these ones are going to take us a little bit longer because the great mathematician strategy is to solve each one so that you can find your answer. So here is a time where you should be pausing the video so that you can solve all of the equations and you are pushing play when you are ready to check your answer. Okay, so if we look, we always do the parentheses first. So 4 times 3 I know is 12 plus 4 times 3 again, which equals 12. And 12 plus 12 equals what? 24. Is that equivalent to 36? No way. Okay, let's look at B. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 3 times 3, which equals what? 9. Does 9 plus 4 equal 36? No, not even close. It equals 13. Okay, let's look at C. 4 times 5. What's 4 times 5? 20, right? And then 4 times 4, we should know like that is 16. When we add that together, what does that equal? It equals 36. So is that one that you should have bubbled? Absolutely. Now D looks a little different. D doesn't have 2 sets of parentheses. So when we see parentheses, we know we do the parentheses first. Well, it doesn't really matter here because there's a bunch of parentheses. But here we want to solve what's in the parentheses first. What is 2 times 9? And I am hoping that you solved all of these over to the side like mine. 2 times 9 is 18. And then we multiply it by 2. Or we can just add 18 plus 18, which equals what? 36. You should have also picked D. When it says select all, you never know. So don't just stop because you picked 2. Always solve all of them, okay? 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 times 9 is 9, and we know that equals 13. So yes, there were only 2 answers there. Hopefully you got that right. Kiss your brain and do the whoop whoop cheer. All right, use the number line to find which fraction is equivalent to 4/8. So remember, when we try to find equivalent fractions, we can multiply to help us. We can multiply the numerator and we can multiply the denominator. So we want the numerator to equal 4. Okay, well, can we multiply 3 times anything to get 4? No. So we know that one we can't do. Here's another one with a 3 for the numerator. We can't multiply 3 by anything to equal 4. So we know that can't be right. All right, let's look at 2. Can you multiply 2 by something to get 4? what can you multiply it by? 2, right? So 2 times 2 equals 4. Well, does 4 times 2, because remember you have to do it on the same, does 4 times 2 equal 8? Yes. Okay. Could we do it for this one? No. So our answer should have been C. And if we look at our number line, that can help us check our work, okay? We know this number line is split into eighths. So we have to figure out where 4/8 is. So remember, you are just changing the numerator. So here's 4/8, right? But this one, this fraction, has a denominator of 4. So that means if it was split into 4 equal pieces, it would kind of look like this. So this would be 1/4. This would be 2/4. See how they're equivalent? Okay, so sometimes the number line might not help you as much as using the strategy of multiplying to find the equivalent fraction. Okay, guys? All right, fill in the missing factors and products in the multiplication table. So you should be familiar with this. If we look at the top and the side number, when we put them together, that's what the answer is, okay? So 2 times what equals 4? 2, right? Okay, so then let's see. We've got 2 here, but we're missing this number. But we know it has to equal 8. 2 times what equals 8? Go ahead and write it in. You should have gotten 4. Okay, now we're still missing, well, we're missing quite a few, but we're missing this one here. Okay, so 4 times what equals 24? 4 times what equals 24? Do you know? It equals 6. Now you should be able to fill in the rest if you just match them up. Okay, so go ahead and hit pause. When you are ready, we will go over the answers. All right, so hopefully you've got all of this filled in. So let's just start with our 2's. We know 2 times 2 equals 4. 2 times 4 equals what? 8. And 2 times 6, you should have gotten 12. Okay, then moving on. 4 times 2, we got 8. So now we're going to do 4 times 4, which equals what? 16. And then 4 times 6 equals 24. We already figured that out. Now we're moving on to 6. 6 times 2. What does 6 times 2 equal? You should have put 12. And then we've got 6 times 4. You should have gotten 24. And then just check your work. Does 6 times 6 equal 36? Yes. So that is what your multiplication table should have looked like. Go ahead and circle number 4 and put a DP. You are going to do this one on your own for a discussion post, okay? Moving on to number 5. Compare, choose the correct sign. The green strips, you can't see it, but the picture shows 1/6 and 2/6. We're comparing the fractions, okay? Which symbol makes sense? Go ahead and bubble yours in now. All right, well, there's a couple ways we could look at this. This The fraction bars we love because you can see that 2/6 has more, right? So 2/6 is what? It's greater. So the alligator mouth should be eating the bigger fraction. Remember too our trick. If the denominator's the same, we love that because then we just look at the numerators and the bigger numerator has the bigger fraction. Okay, so for 5, you should have picked A. All right, flipping over to the back. Oh, we've got one of our magic grids. You should be experts at this by now. What numbers will make all of the following equations true? Go ahead, pause your video, solve it. You should by now know how to write it and bubble it in also. All right, so if you are watching me, that means you have already solved number 6, and we are finding the mystery number. So hopefully one of these equations you were able to answer quickly. And I know 9 times 9 equals 81. So if I plug in 9 for all of them, that makes sense. So your answer should have looked just like this. Remember, we always start in the very first box, just like if we're reading, right? We look at the first letter. So that's why we start in the first box. After you write it, you always bubble it in, okay? All right, number 7, Paul and Enrique each have equal size pizzas cut into 8 equal slices. Enrique eats 2 slices. Paul eats 3 slices. Which fraction comparison is true of the amount of pizza Paul and Enrique have eaten? There is a silly answer here that you should be eliminating right away. Pause the video, solve your answer on pause when you are ready. Okay, was there a silly one that you should have eliminated right away? I hope that you are telling me A is a silly answer because we know 2/8 is not equivalent to, if I shaded all of this in, that would be 8/8. 8/8 is also not even anything with this problem because our fractions are 3/8 for Paul and 2/8 for Enrique. So we have a picture again. We can look at the picture to help us figure it out, or we can remember that if the denominator is the same, we love that. Then we just look at the numerator. The greater numerator is the greater fraction. So which one did you pick? B, C, or D? You should have picked C. And I hope you're doing a ninja karate chop. Ready, do it. Hi-ya! All right, 2 more we're doing together. Number 8, choose the equation that demonstrates the commutative property of the equation below. If you don't remember the commutative property, it involves parentheses. The only thing that changes are the parentheses. Okay, so take a minute, see if you can find your answer. And sorry, I might have said that wrong. The parentheses might not necessarily change. Let me rewind. The parentheses can change. The numbers have to stay the same, but we can switch the order. All right, now pause it again and try to find your answer. All right, well, look here. We've got a 5, we've got a 10, we've got a 3. But this is not correct because it has an addition. We need to make sure that our problem has both multiplication. So hopefully you caught that and put an X next to that one, okay? Because if you look at all of these, they all have the same three numbers, but which one has the same symbols? You should have picked B. 10 times 5 times 3 is the same as 5 times 10 times 3, right? We just flip-flopped it around. All right, number 9, you are doing on your own for a discussion post. And number 10, let's do it. Brenda drew this bar diagram to model a division problem. Which equation can Brenda use to help find the missing number? Go ahead and pause it and solve. All right, well, we know we started with 28 and we are splitting 28 into how many groups? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is dividing it, because they told us division, into 4 equal groups, okay? So 28 divided by 4 does equal 7. So your answer should have been A. All right, friends, you are doing 9 for your discussion post. You are also doing number 4 for your discussion post. You are not done then, okay? You are also doing day 17, 45, and 46, and you are having an adult check your work. All right, ninjas, great job. I will see you tomorrow.